Hey everybody, and welcome to this review of Rise and Shine. Rise and Shine is a kind of shooting, puzzly game, 2D. Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of Contra and a little bit of, I don't know, bullet puzzles. It's hard to completely describe, but it's an interesting game. It's by Super Awesome Hyperdimensional Mega Team, which is a name and a half. They haven't made a lot that I haven't played anything else by them before. They've released some stuff on mobile. This is their first PC game, at least that I know of, and it's interesting. It's very difficult and a bit shorter than I was expecting, really. But I'll get to that in a minute. So, in this game, you are Rise, I think he's preteen kid who's on this planet called Game Earth, where all the games exist together. There's a lot of different references to a different bunch of different games. Like there's a Flappy Birds reference, and there's a warrior who looks like Link, and there are a bunch of other references that are interesting and funny, and you'll get if you enjoy gaming culture in general. So, generally the gameplay is you trying to not get shot by everybody else, because you have a life bar, but it's not very much. You get hit once or twice and you're dead. Pretty difficult in that aspect. You're fighting a bunch of different enemies. There's an alien force invading, so you're trying to stop them from destroying the entire planet and your family and everything. So a lot of it's like you're either just shooting bad guys or you're hiding behind something and shooting people so they don't explode on you. There's also a few bosses, and those are incredibly difficult and ridiculously stupidly hard. I didn't really enjoy the bosses too much in the game. At one point I did I changed my mouse so that I could, instead of having to click every time when I wanted to shoot a bullet, I could just hold down a button and it would shoot for me because of how much shooting I was doing against the boss. It was kind of ridiculous. But I eventually beat it. So that's like the main bulk of the game, is the shooting baddies and everything and trying to protect your planet. There's also some puzzles. You get remote controlled bullets, which you have to kind of sometimes maneuver through stuff or find how to hit something and yada yada yada. But the problem with all this is the game is only about 2.5 hours long, or that's about how long it took me to beat it. Could be maybe 3, a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how good of you are at this game. If you didn't die at all, I bet you could beat this game in like an hour and a half. I don't think you'll ever not die in this game. There is an Iron Man mode where if you can just try to not die the entire time. I started it just to see what it was, because I wasn't sure what it was at first, and I died quite quickly, and I wasn't gonna do it because it's ridiculous. So, in general, it's interesting. The gameplay in general, I enjoyed. The bosses not so much, just because of how much there was to do, and so it's like 3 health bars, and if you die at any point during the boss, you have to totally restart that boss, and it's kind of ridiculous in my opinion, just because of how difficult they were. They're probably going for a really hard game, which is fine. A few other things about the game. The art style is really great. I really liked the art. It looked really great. Definitely points for that. Also, there was another thing I was going to say. It was about the... Oh, interesting thing with the gun is... So the gun is another character in the game. Rise and Shine. Rise is your character. Shine is the gun. And there's like a bit where... So like respawning is because of Shine, and that goes into the story, but at the same time it like doesn't. I don't know. I feel like they could have incorporated it differently with that. They could have, like, because it seems like the respawning also reverts time, but they don't really talk about that. Seems like it should, if it was more defined in that area, it could be more interesting. They could have done some more stuff with that. And also, an interesting mechanic they had with the gun was to jump, you needed to shoot using the gun. So like when you're jumping, you can't be holding your gun to shoot it as well, which I thought was interesting, but at the same time they didn't fully commit to the mechanic because even when you're jumping, you don't use your ammo to reload, so you don't need to reload after you jumped, basically, which would make the game really hard, but it would also make it, I feel like it more fully commit to that mechanic that they had made. But at the same time, that'd make the game a lot more difficult. So I don't know if I'd really want it. They'd have to change some things about the game to make that, you know, easier. Maybe it could be another mode or an optional thing or something. I don't know. Overall, I liked the game for the most part. Overall, I didn't like the bosses, especially the final boss. Didn't like him at all. Took me so long to beat him. That was probably like half an hour of playtime just to beat him. Anything else? I think that's about it. Yeah. So yeah, I'd give this game probably a 7 out of 10. Really great art. The music wasn't bad, but it wasn't like super memorable either. Obviously, since I didn't really mention it in the rest of the review. If you're looking for a difficult, you know, platformy, shootery 2D game, it's interesting. Yeah. The story, I like the world. I like how they did it. I just feel like they could have done more with it. I just felt like it kind of... They could have built it on the story more than it already was. So, yeah. Those are my thoughts. If you disagree with me, or if you agree with me, leave a comment below. Let me know if there's something you want me to play, or review, or yada yada yada. Yeah. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like below. If you didn't like it, dislike it. And I will see you next time. Have a great day, and goodbye.